Hello, and welcome to my playthrough of Silent Hill 2. It's been a couple weeks since Silent Hill 2 Remake's been coming out, and I just decided I should record something, record a playthrough for the fun of it, just go through, particularly I want to go through and do some compare and contrasts to this and the original one. I'm going to put in some footage, maybe some screenshots of the original game to kind of show you like the differences, or maybe talk about how, for instance, this bathroom being pretty much exactly the same to a very impressive degree. So yeah, I'm just gonna go play through it. Let's see. I'm gonna play through on the normal difficulty, I think. Just because it'll be easy to get through. The difficulty combat is challenging, and there's a couple sections where it's like I don't want to get stuck on, so for the sake of the video I'm gonna go play everything on the standard difficulty. Puzzles included, even though the puzzles aren't that bad, but yeah, we'll get through it. So I'm going to disappear for the opening cutscene, so you don't have to look at my dumb face while all that's going on, and just have a look at the cutscene, pay attention to all the little details, and we can talk about it when we get back. So see you in a bit.
Could you really be in this town?
In my restless dreams, I see that town. Silent Hill. You promised you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you.
I got a letter. The name on the envelope said Mary. My wife's name. It's ridiculous. Couldn't possibly be true. That's what I keep telling myself. Mary died of that damn disease 3 years ago. So then why am I looking for her? Our special place. What could she mean? This whole town was our special place. Could Mary really be here? Is she really alive? Waiting for me?
Okay, so here we are. Not quite Silent Hill yet, but we're just overlooking Lake Toluca in the distance. There's a fun fact about Toluca Lake in the first game. They used an image or a photograph of a real-life location in the north of England in the Lake District called Derwentwater. It's near the town of Keswick, and what's fun about that is the Lake District in that area around Keswick is a place I went a lot as a child. Used to go there with my family. So it was very strange years later, after playing the original Silent Hill 2, and then people finding out where it was and pointing that out. I was like, oh, weird, I've been there. I've been to Silent Hill. So that was a very surreal experience. It's the hills in the background are kind of similar. You can see the three hills. I don't know if they're the titular hills. Seems pretty quiet, but yeah, it's not as vivid, obviously, because of the fog and stuff, but yeah, it's just an interesting little tidbit. Tidbit? Tidbit. The phrase is tidbit, not titbit. Oh god. I've ruined this playthrough already. Right, so anyway, this game looks very nice. It even looks good on the lowest settings. I've been messing around with the settings. You put them right down, it still looks really, really good. But yeah, let's have a look around. All that's all new. In the original one, because it's fixed camera, you never get to see the other side, so that's all new. Let's have a look around. There's my car. Must have rode in on here. Very detailed. It is a shitty car by the looks of things. It's just covered in rust. Real bad. And here we have a map, and it's laid out in the exact same way it was in the original one too. It's very nice. There we go. So, we're all the way up here on the observation deck. We're trying to get to Silent Hill, which is all the way down here. Now, obviously, we can't go down Nathan Avenue through the tunnel because apparently it's blocked, so we're going to have to go down this path here, which leads us through a graveyard. Which is always good. So, what's wrong, James? Why are you freaking out for some reason? So yeah. We're going to take the long way in. And James seems to be staring at something in the back of the car. What's going on, James? No? Okay. Dunno. Weird. Yeah, you can actually go back into the restaurant. You go back in here. And this whole place is meticulously redone. Like, every bit of graffiti, every bit of filth is all redone. Even the mirror works, which is impressive in its own right in this day and age. But yeah, it's recreated perfectly, including this weird drawing of a man, the text on the walls, the weird drawing over there, the nonsensical sentences on the wall. And if you look over here, you can just see it. You can see some posters for a place called Heaven's Night. And there's a picture of a lady there. All that's in the original game. They've just completely redone it all. Oh. There's some flyers up there. Can I read any of them? Oh, no. You can actually run down here. Now, there's a sign there that clearly says no U-turns, but, you know, James isn't a stickler for the rules. There you go. So you actually get you get a little achievement for doing that. And it's something I always end up doing, particularly in horror games. I always first thing I try and do is leave. Every time. Ooh. Hang on. I left the door open. There. No achievement for that, sadly. Also, sadly, these binoculars don't work. Very disappointing to see that. What a shame. Anyway. Let's have a look at our inventory. So, wait a minute. Okay. That's the map. We obviously have the letter that James was talking about. That's definitely Mary's handwriting. In my restless dreams, I see that town, Silent Hill. You promised me you'd take me there again someday, but you never did. Well, I'm alone there now, in our special place, waiting for you. So as James said, Mary, his wife, has been dead for 3 years, and then he suddenly got a letter from her in her handwriting telling him to come to Silent Hill to meet her. So obviously he's a bit confused. What's wrong? A bit confused and paranoid. We also have a photo of Mary from when she was still healthy. Taken down by the lake by the looks of things. Nothing on the other side. You can see those hills in the background too, so it's probably not, probably just down the way there. Down there somewhere. So yeah, we have to go by foot because if we look over here, you can see that the tunnel through the hillside is closed off. The welcome sign has been destroyed, so clearly we're not welcome. There's also some really nice sound design here if you get close to the tunnel. It's nice. You hear the wind howling through the tunnel, but you can also hear the like dripping of water and the chain link fence rattling. And that's classic Silent Hill. Chain link fences and stuff and rust. Right, let's look back here. An abandoned van. Also very rusty. Classic dice ornaments and an empty soda drink of some kind. So it's not really clear who this is for, who owns this van, but if you play the original game and you watch the full intro music video thing, you can actually see a shot of 2 characters sitting next to this van to give you an idea whose it is. Toluca Lake. Everything's so rusted and just worn, which is strange because Silent Hill is a tourist town. You wouldn't expect something to be this run down. But, obviously, as we can see, the cigarette butts and beer cans, so there's signs of life here still. Ooh, look at that mud. Delicious mud. Is that a footprint? Gorgeous looking mud. Very evocative. Kind of feels like I'm in the Lake District again, actually. Apart from the ominous music, that's a little... That's new. Alright. We got a long path ahead of us. Let's go. Am I hearing things? No, it's just the trees swaying, I think. Sure. We'll go with that. It is very oddly quiet. Usually in a forest like this you would hear birds calling constantly, but there's nothing. There's like no sign of life whatsoever. I think. Maybe there is signs of life. Not the kind we want, though. So in the original game, when you're walking down this path, occasionally the camera angle will change perspective. It'll go from you running down the forest to all of a sudden it will be a side view from between the trees, making it seem like something is in the tree line watching you and following you, which is very creepy. You also hear random noises like footsteps and stuff. Obviously they can't do the camera and perspective switches, but they've got a couple little tricks to give you the same feeling as in the original. Like that. I'm pretty sure I just heard something there. Okay, James, let's maybe vamoose. Let's get out of the woods. Because I don't think we're safe here. Ooh. Well, well, well. Just like in the original one, there's a well out in the middle of the woods with our first save point. You can see that red glow, which I think the Bloober team have said they had to make this a bit more obvious because people were walking right past it. Because in the original one, when you go near, the entire camera's perspective changes, and it's you and the camera's looking directly down at the well, so it's hard to miss. But I guess they had to make this a little more obvious. Well, that's odd. Ignore all that. I've been playing the game, you see. But yeah, this is technically a camera change, perspective shift, because now we're seeing James from the point of view of the save point, which is very, very odd. Well, it's an interesting choice, for sure. But, yeah. It's following along the idea that we're being watched by something.
It's like someone's groping around my skull.
Don't let them do that. Groping. Groping's such an interesting use. Not attacking, pulling. Not violent. Harming, groping. It's weird. It's implying a lot of stuff. It's applying like a off-putting gentleness? I don't know. It's weird. Speaking of weird, well, church. This must be the graveyard. Which means we're about to meet another character. And that means I'm going to disappear for a bit again so you can enjoy the cutscene.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I was just...
Hey, it's okay. I didn't mean to scare you. I'm kind of lost.
Lost?
Yeah, I'm looking for Silent Hill. Is this the right way?
Yeah. It's hard to see with this fog, but there's only the one road. You can't miss it.
Thanks.
But... I think you should stay away. This town, there's something wrong with it. And it's not just the fog, either.
Is it dangerous?
Maybe. It's kind of hard to explain, but...
I'll be careful.
I'm not lying.
No, I believe you. It's just... I guess I don't really care if it's dangerous or not. I'm going either way.
But why?
I'm looking for... someone. Someone very important to me.
Me too. I'm looking for my mama. I mean, my mother. It's been so long since I've seen her. I thought my father and brother were here, but I can't find them either. I'm sorry, it's not your problem.
No, I hope you find them.
Yeah, you too.
So, awkward meeting, because we're in a graveyard, and I don't think any time meeting a stranger in a graveyard is a fun, joyous event. So yeah, it's that kind of awkwardness of like two people who don't really know what to do around each other, and given the circumstance, I don't blame them. We can actually go back and talk to her again.
Did you want anything else?
No, it's just this fog. Does it seem unsettling to you?
I guess.
Yes. Doesn't seem to be too bothered by it.
It's just through the gate and down the path. You'll get there in no time.
Okay.
Good luck finding the one you're looking for.
Yeah, I should probably get going.
So yeah, the body language for this girl we're seeing right now is very on point. She's very guarded. She's doing reassuring arm, like, pets to herself. Obviously right now she's got her arms folded in a defensive posture, because why wouldn't you? There's a strange man talking to you in the middle of a graveyard surrounded by fog. I'd be a bit on guard too. But even in the cutscene, she's very distant. I mean, the way it's portrayed is it's understandably so from both of them. It's an awkward situation. But yeah, her body language is very on point. It's very... what's the word? It's on guard, it's high strung. She looks nervous all the time. Whereas James kind of looks nonchalant, which kind of follows him a bit. We'll get more into that later, but if we look very closely, actually, at her nails. Ooh. You can see there, see if we can get very close. Whoops. You can see how they're all broken and chewed up, and that looks like the same nails that people who habitually bite their own nails out of nervousness. Looks like that's what's going on there. Like she's constantly biting her nails because of anxiety or nerves or something. Which is such a great attention to detail. Like, it's something that you could very, very easily miss because obviously it's the fingernails, you're not going to see them that much. Not in a third-person game. Especially not on another character that you're not playing as. But yeah, it's just a really nice attention to detail. So, in that cutscene, one interesting thing to keep in mind is James... he says something along the lines of he doesn't really care if it's dangerous. You know, he's not really... he doesn't care, he's going anyway, which is... at first it seems understandable because he's trying to find his wife, she may be in danger, but as we go on, we'll see that James has a very odd disregard for his own safety. In the things that he does, and some of the stuff that he says later on, we'll get this idea that, like, he doesn't care if he puts himself in danger. And it may not be for the reasons you originally would think it would be for. Let's go have a look at this creepy, creepy church. And if you know Silent Hill, you know churches are not a good thing. Any kind of organized religion is a bad thing in Silent Hill. And there's a little message on the door. All have sinned and fall short of God's glory. That sounds like something a certain character from Silent Hill 1 would say. Have a look around the graveyard a bit. Don't actually know if there's anything around here to look at in terms of gravestones. I know there's some names written on them, but I don't know the significance. There may be something to it, I just don't know. And one of the interesting things in this, if we look at the map, is you can see the lake itself is actually kind of encroaching into the graveyard, where in the original one, I think, I might be wrong, I'd have to double check, but I think there was just a pond. Just a small little pond that was in the graveyard. But in this one, it's the lake itself has actually started flooding the graveyard. Which is cool. But what's even more interesting, if we go closer to the lake, we start walking out into it, you'll notice there is a change in the audio cue. There's like a very low droning noise comes about. You just listen carefully. Do you hear that? That's very interesting. And as soon as you turn away, it fades away as well. So, that's intentional. And it's interesting because it's... We'll learn more about the history of Silent Hill and the lake in particular. And getting a bit ahead of the game, the lake, as you'll find out, has taken many lives over the years. Many people have died in and because of the lake. So this visual of the lake slowly encroaching into the graveyard, like also reclaiming the bodies it didn't claim before, is very interesting. Just adds this whole little bit of extra layer of creepiness to the game. I really like that. Just a nice little thing. You can easily miss it. Just a nice little bit of detail that helps round out the experience. Okay. So, we're going to make our way along here a bit more. You said it was just through these gates and we'd be there in no time. Still feels like a long way though. There's some cornfields. Nice scarecrow. What was that? Very ominous. Ah, here we go. Silent Hill Ranch. Now, this sign has become kind of infamous because of the HD collection that came out a few years ago, because in that version of the game, they decided to use Comic Sans as the font for the sign, which is a terrible idea, because it's Comic Sans, and everyone knows it, and it's, you just... As any kind of graphic designer or visual artist knows, you never, ever, ever, ever use Comic Sans for anything. Because it looks awful, but they ended up using it for that for some reason. There's probably a reason why, but I don't know it. But the fun thing about this is, people have already found that if you no-clip over here and go into that barn, you can find the Comic Sans version of that sign in there as a really super hidden Easter egg. I don't know. I think people found it like day one. It's insane that people immediately started no-clipping, but I guess that's the nature of Silent Hill. Everyone's always trying to figure out the little secrets like that, so I would assume Bloober, being fans themselves, probably knew that was going to happen, so they hid it in there. That's a fun little Easter egg. Another creepy white van. I'm sure that's fine. This is definitely bigger in this version. This was so much smaller in the original game. There's like a whole lumber yard of stuff over here now as well. Auto service and tires? Nice droning music there. Oh. Ah. Alright. We need to find a key. So our best bet is Best Auto Parts. Ah. Went to town to get the window fixed. Spare keys in the drawer. So this acts as a little kind of tutorial teaching you the very, very first level of the gameplay loop, which is you need to get through a door. You need to find the key, so look around the environment for clues, follow notes to get the key to open the door. Pretty simple. But in this case, it's went to get the window fixed. Oh, and James is looking at it. The nice thing about this game, and this has been kind of a staple for survival horror since Resident Evil 2, I think, where the characters have head tracking, where if you go close to an object, their head will automatically look towards it to let you, the player, know that there's something there. And it's very handy in the old fixed camera games, because obviously there are items that sometimes hidden or sometimes just around your camera's point of view, so you can't see them, so character looks, you know there's something there. So they've kept that in this. It was in the original Silent Hill 2 as well, but they've kept it in this one, and it's really cool because it means you can play this game with absolutely no UI at all. You can turn everything off. For the sake of the video, I've left it on, but just so you can see where everything is. But yeah, you'll be able to track all this stuff just by looking at James's head. It's really cool. It's a really good idea as well, because there is some hidden stuff that I found by
Hello?
Oh,
Anyone in here?
there's some hidden stuff I found just by James' head movement. Ooh. Aha. Auto service and tires key. Alright. Good. So there you go, that's just a tiny, tiny little example of the gameplay loop that you're going to find throughout this whole game. Oops. Done. And we're through. We're getting closer. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting closer. It is a long, long journey into Silent Hill. Weird noise. This definitely is a game that you want to play alone in the dark with both headphones on, for sure, because there's some great sound design going on. And then there's this thing over here, which is a very interesting Easter egg slash collectible. Where if we go over here and look at it, we all of a sudden cut to a fixed camera angle, which is the exact same camera angle that's in the original game. And this, we're seeing here, is actually a very important place, because this is where we get our first our first weapon. This is where we get the radio, and it's also where we find the first enemy of the game. But there's odd noises coming from in there as well, I've just noticed. But as those of you who know Silent Hill 1, you'll know this isn't where this is in the original. This is in a completely different location. I think it's originally up Vrax Road, or the equivalent of that. You see where the it joins Nathan Avenue? That's where it would be originally. So we already know now that stuff has been moved around a little. It's not going to be the exact same. A lot of it is the same, but stuff's been reworked and moved around. And so that's a little Easter egg collectible, like Echo. It may be an Echo, or it may be something more. It's hard to say. It could be it could be something, but I don't want to get into that just yet. Oh look, the Silent Hill sign. That actually looks like the font from Silent Hill 1, not Comic Sans. I can't read that, so I'm going in. I love how, obviously with the water running out the pipe as well, you just get the impression that it's just stopped raining. Like everything's got like a sheen to it. It's literally just stopped raining. Which would explain the fog. Or would it? I'm not really sure. Which comes first? They've got a little aqueduct down there. So in the original, as you're walking along this, there's what I can only assume is like frogs croaking or something. It's an odd sound. The only thing I can attribute to is frogs from the aqueduct, but in this, there's nothing at all. Same with how when we were walking down through the forest, there's no sign of life, there's no birds, nothing. I do like the fact that they've changed it so it's like, there's not, just no noise from natural wildlife at all. It just helps build on this idea that we're completely alone, isolated from the world, and it just adds this extra layer of creepy. Speaking of creepy, that sign doesn't have anything on it. Odd. See, in the old game, you can argue a lot of stuff is there because of limitations at a time, but in something like this, where it feels like there is no limitation, it's like, okay, everything is done for a reason. There's a reason behind every little detail, every sound, and every decision. There's a shopping trolley down there. That's about right. Yeah, that's about right for an aqueduct like this. Right, let's actually get into Silent Hill. Oh boy. It takes a while. Almost there. Oh. Looks like there was some kind of landslide or something. Probably because of the rain. See, that sign's got something on it. The Roadrunner. Which... nope, still can't go into. So yeah, as you can see, even in the town, everything looks overgrown and abandoned. Which is one of the first major themes of the game, is isolation and abandonment. Ooh. Ah, yes. Pocket map of Silent Hill. Alright, we got a new map. We're finally in Silent Hill. Whoop. And as you can see on the map, there's lots of places, and a lot of these places are actually new. Some of these places like Texan Cafe, the apartments, groovy music, that's all new stuff for this remake. So there's a lot more stuff to explore now. But first rule, or first goal of a Silent Hill game is mark stuff on the map. We're going to run around and we're going to fill in the map as we go, because then it'll give us an idea of where we can and can't go. So if we do get lost later on, we'll know we don't have to backtrack across half the map just to find an alley that is shut or a door that's shut. We can all fill it in now. Nope. Nothing there. So as you can see on our map now, we got some squiggly lines letting us know that we can't pass there. So it's just things like that. Just filling in your map. Exploring. Now unfortunately, there is no first aid kit here, unlike in the original. And unlike the original, we can actually go into this flower shop and ignore the disgusting stain outside. So once again, we're seeing the idea of abandonment. All these flowers have basically died because no one's been here to feed them or look after them. Miss Cassandra, a customer came in today, ordered a mixed bouquet, red and white. I tried to explain it's bad luck, but he couldn't decide on just one. He seemed a bit off, looked at me like I wasn't even there. Then he just left, said he'd be back to pick him up later. I just wanted to let you know, since I might be gone by then. Nope, nothing on the other side. To be fair, it seems like everyone's gone. Yeah, everything's overgrown, the plants are overtaking the place. There's no one here at all. Ooh. That was something. So was that.
What is this?
Eee. Whatever it is, it's going outside, so obviously we're going to follow it, because why wouldn't you? So if you look at the map, actually, that flower shop isn't marked as a location, whereas some of these others are. So it's good to check every corner, every inch of the place. Right, let's get into Silent Hill proper. Ew.
More of that stuff.
Yeah, it's not quite blood, is it? It's red, but it's not, it's like the wrong color of red. Whatever it is. Right. We're at a crossroads. Let's go over to Gonzalez's Mexican restaurant and get some enchiladas. That'll make everything better. Damn it. Never mind. Ah. Exactly. Now that's odd. This weird building scaffolding structure with a white cloth all over it. Just in the middle of a street. Completely blocked off. That's a bit peculiar. And slightly ominous. Okay, I guess we're not going that way. Let's go check down here before we go head up. More of it. There's something, I don't know what it is, there's definitely something otherworldly about this, even though it is at the same time mundane. It's something you can see all the time. It's just scaffolding, but it's the white cloth all over it, and obviously it's not all white, it's got some horrible stains running down, but there's like bits of it where it's just like stark, shockingly white. It really stands out. There's something, I don't know, there's something off, it's so odd. There's something very off-putting, there's something otherworldly about it. And there's something like clinical about it. It reminds me of like hospital clothing, like bed sheets and like lab coats or something. Which, given James's wife's history with illness, is it's probably on point. It also reminds me of like, I think it's Indonesia that has the funeral garb. I know there's probably a bunch of different cultures that have several different, like, funeral garb where they wrap corpses up in sheets like that. But yeah, there's something so off-putting about it. It's very strange. But it's also just blocking our way around, so there's very limited where we can go. We can only really head back up this way. Yep, up Lindsay Street. Let's go. Coincidentally, or probably not actually, but it's the blood seems to be heading this way too. Yay. You really just want to take your time and kind of soak up the atmosphere. Especially when it's like this. Just get an idea of how isolated everything is. How you seem to be the only person in town. Cafe Texan. And more of that stuff. Kind of looks like there was a fight or something stumbled over this fence and knocked over the chair and stuff. What are you looking at, James? Ah. Yeah, we can't get in from this side, but there's a door open over there, so we can get in over there. Oh, but unfortunately, some more of that scaffolding up there. So, we'll have to go around. Let's go back over here. Huh. Maybe I'm not alone.
Hey, wait.
Sure, say hey, wait. So, fun thing about that is, depending on where you are on the street, that cutscene will change slightly. Like, if you're over here, James will walk from this direction. Same with the road as well. The cutscene will actually change depending on where you're standing, which is a great attention to detail. Just trash. Alright, I guess we'll go figure out who that was. Yeah. We're just still following the blood trail. Ah, here we have another echo. So this one is interesting because this is the road that would have originally taken you to the underpass where you got the radio and your first weapon. As you can see, it's been closed off. Area closed due to an accident. Trespassing might lead to injury or death. Now, in the original game, that's where you fight the first monster. So the fact that it's closed off saying there was an accident is interesting. You can read into a lot of that, but we're not going to right now.
What happened to this town?
Nothing good. Well, we're not going that way either. Let's head back. Maybe we can find some more blood to follow. Aha. Good thing this thing's leaving a trail. You can see the rainwater cascading down the drain. And by the looks of it, that creature bumped into it and broke the thing. Well, that's good. This part, in particular, really reminds me of Silent Hill 1. There's a lot of very similar parts to Silent Hill 1. I'm going to ignore that for now. There's a lot of similar parts to Silent Hill 1 where you're in people's backyards and you're going like between the alleys, between the houses, where all the garages are. It's really similar to this. Should I be worried about that noise?
Hello?
He's nothing if not friendly, James. He sees that nonsense and he's just like, hello? I'd be a bit more weary, but that's just... maybe that's just me. Yeah, this part in particular, like an alley like this is pure Silent Hill 1. Well, nowhere else to go. I agree, James. I agree. Ugh. Ooh. Instantly. Great. Ah. Good thing there's a save point there. Don't mind if I do. So this part is entirely new. Obviously, like I said before, this isn't in the original game. This is completely new. And we're just seeing more of the abandoned town. Ooh. Aha. Nutrition supplement. For adults only, do not exceed the recommended dose. Keep out of reach of children. Health drink. Alright. Nothing in there. You can see his head tracking work real well there. The radio. So here's our first enemy. James immediately arms himself with a stick.
Stay back.
Whoa. Okay. We're gonna have to fight this thing. Ugh. Whoa. There we go. Get. Okay. I think it's dead.
What was that thing?
That is a great question.
Is this what I saw in the fog? Whatever it is, it's not human.
Wait, it's human shaped. So yeah, that's the first enemy, the lying figure. And as we see more of them, we'll get into the kind of design of them. But you can see, if you look closely in back, it's like got stitching on it. Its entire upper torso is like, looks like it's been stitched into a bag. We should probably get out of here. Ooh, squeeze through here. Ah. First aid kit. And the most disgusting needle you've ever seen in your life. Why would you pick that up? James, have you it's like you've never been to Glasgow. Yeah, that thing is absolutely horrid looking. It's just filth, rust. You can just make out there's some text or something, and there's like a barcode. And James is like, oh yeah, no, I should pick that up. Put it in my pocket, save that for later. And that is our second healing item. That's our max heal, whereas the health drink does a small amount of health, the syringe does a full heal. And it's just, why James, why? Well, and also, what's wrong with a med kit? In the original one, it was just a med kit. It was just, yeah, that'll do, but no, in this one, it's a disgusting used needle. I mean, I guess you could say, metaphorically speaking, it could mean something, because maybe James's outlook to medicine, because of his wife being ill for so many years. You could read into that if you want to. Oop! I'm gonna smash some windows. Huh. Now, I kind of like the fact that James doesn't really say anything. One of the things I was extremely worried about, because this is from Bloober Team, I was worried that they'd have James talk non-stop, because in their previous game, The Medium, the main character would talk constantly. And it was incredibly annoying. I don't like the trend from the last few years of having your horror game protagonists talk constantly. I think people use it as a crutch. People use it to clumsily put exposition, but also they use it to tell the audience how they should feel. Because a lot of the times, an example would be of how the characters talk about how scared they are. And in my opinion, the character shouldn't need to tell me that, I should feel that. So if you have your character telling me I'm so scared, and I'm not feeling that, or I feel like you're trying to make me feel that by having the character explain it to me, it's a little off-putting, in my opinion. So yeah, I was really worried that they'd have James talk non-stop, but he really doesn't talk unless it's appropriate, which is nice, because I am sick of characters in horror games talking constantly. It ruins the atmosphere, in my opinion. It's a good question. I really like this bit of music. Oh. That's a very large bloodstain. It's also an echo. Or whatever they're called. Memory? I'm calling them echoes. Again, this is a shot. It's a reference to something that happened in the first game. In the first game, you find a figure lying here, and when you look very closely at the figure, it seems, or at least appears, if you can see it through all the gore, it seems to be wearing the exact same clothing as James. The jacket, the jeans, same even kind of green jacket. It's very interesting. Oh look. There we go. We can loot cars for goods. Which is probably better than just having random healing items out on the street, like in the original.
Is that?
Ew. So, as I was saying, if you look very closely at this model, obviously the face is obscured, but you can kind of see it, the jacket. You can kind of just see the hair. That's a very similar model to James's. And you could argue in the first game because of the limited resources. Oh, they just reused the model. Absolutely. That's probably what it is. But given the tone of the game and given some of the imagery and metaphor, and especially in this, that's intentional. Bar Nelly's. Nelly's bar. Which is it? Can we get this clear? Which is it? Okay, just a matchstick covered in horrible, horrible gunk. And then you have a lovely little animation of James adding that to his map to basically let you, the player, know that what you've just found is very important and to check the map. Look down there, Nelly's bar has been circled. So we need to go there. But yeah, that's a very similar looking coat to what James is wearing. If you're reading this, leave. This place is not what it seems. Sometimes you just have to look behind. Run away. In summary, run away. Doesn't seem like James wants to, though. Ooh. Huh. Well, that's special. Let's just pop in here for a second. We got another save point. Now there's a fun noise. Now you can easily assume that, oh, that was silly. You can easily assume that that's part of the soundtrack. It's a bit of music concrete. Just like the soundtrack from Silent Hill 1 is very industrial in nature. But we'll find out that it's something else. Where'd it go? Okay. We're on the other side of that thing. Actually, we could go over to Cafe Texan, or we could head straight down to Nelly's bar. Let's maybe go down to Nelly's bar. Going off the hook. Oh. It's one of those things in the distance. Now the streets are wide enough. We can get around them. And as long as we're quiet, they won't immediately come for us. I kind of want to go to Cafe Mist, though. That seems on point. Now the radio alerts the radio alerts us to enemies being around, but it also alerts the enemies to our presence. So you can actually turn it off if you want to be super stealthy. There's that noise again. And there's another one of those lying figures. Okay. Let's head down here. Let's just go to Bar Nelly's. So we can get an idea of what we're doing here. Ooh, a police... Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. Okay, I think it's just running around. Let's go. Here we go, Bar Nelly. Here we got a save point and a jukebox. What more could a man want? I don't know what got into him. He just started smashing the thing, had to throw him out. He ran off, cried he'd fix everything. I gathered up what I could. Still haven't found one of the buttons. Half the record's still lodged inside, but the other part is missing. Figure he must have taken it. Come to think of it, he did run towards Groovy. Anyway, maybe go check up on him, see if he's alright. He lives at Sol by the pharmacy, apartment 9. He just started smashing the thing. Ooh, James has wrote that down. So now we have 2 new places, the Sol Street Apartments and Groovy Music. Let's have a look at this jukebox then. Okay. So whoever that note was about, apparently he got upset and smashed up the jukebox and broke this record. For some reason. So. He headed up to Groovy Music. But he lives in the Sol Street Apartments. Right, that's the jukebox there. Oh yes. There was a hole here. It's gone now. That's a very, very, very strange bit of graffiti that's in the original game that I think has drove the Silent Hill fan base insane for possibly decades. I think it's, in my opinion, it's just a bit of weird text on the wall to start up a mystery, you know? But people have got tons of theories about what it means as metaphorical and stuff like that. It's just, it is what it is. I think it's sending people crazy and debating about what it could be is probably the purpose of it, to be honest. There's obviously people who talk about it being a link to Silent Hill 4, but this came before Silent Hill 4, but you can retroactively link it back because holes are how you escape from the room. It's a whole thing. Just a couple lines that light the fire below people and sets them off. There's another one in Silent Hill 3 that I don't want to talk about. Because, yeah. It's a mystery. Some mysteries are not supposed to be solved, I think, at the end of the day, and I think that's one of them.